So, man, I want to ask you, tell us about the journey though. You know, your boss has kind of opened up these avenues, these doors for you, right, to go out and speak, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But now, how do you get to the point to where you say, I need to start a podcast?
Yeah. So first I was at a spot where, you know, graduated college, everything like that. And I wrote a book. So you know, I hired my dad, paid my dad $5,000. He helped me start, write, you know, launch the book to #1 bestseller on Amazon, all that good stuff. But after family supported and after some other people purchased, then it's like, okay, I'm sitting on these books. I need to do something with these books because I spent all my money buying these books. And then I linked up with an old college friend, old college teammate, and he was like, "Hey man, I got this coach. Like I think he would be good for you to join the community." At that time, looking back, I think my friend was just trying to get me to join so he can get a discounted rate on the membership for that month. But you know what I'm saying? But it's all good. But that's where it started for me, because after investing with my dad, I then invested with this coach in my own personal development. His name was Kendall Ficklin. Shout out to Coach K. And he was the one who really showed me how to story tell, how to take a story and how to wrap the principle with the 80-20 rule is what he calls it. And he showed me how to do business. So that's what got me into speaking. But then it got to the point, Lionel, where speaking started slowing down. I'm like, I need to get a little bit more exposure, right? So this was when I started talking to my videographer. His name's Reginald. And he was like, John, you said you want to get more exposure. You need to go ahead and do a podcast. And I was like, Reginald, that's a terrible idea. Why would I start a podcast? I said, why are you going to tell me this, man? That's not what I don't want to start a podcast. I mean, I was a guest on like 2, but I don't want to do it. Right. Then, you know, a day later, wisdom came home. You know, wisdom came home to my head. And I was like, Reginald, you know what? Man, I think I'm going to go ahead and start the podcast. So that was when my journey with podcasting really started. And then, man, I was rolling. I did about 300 plus episodes, and I rolled them out. But Lionel, I didn't have a clear purpose for the podcast, man. Yeah, I was podcasting wrong, if you will. Like I was passionate, but I was passionate without the passion and the purpose weren't connected, because well, the passion and the purpose were connected, but the profit wasn't going to follow based on the way I had my podcast set up. But man, long story short, that's where it all started with the podcasting and wanting to get more exposure. And yeah, man.
That's awesome though, you know, and it's crazy that your friend came and said it, and at first you was kind of like, nah, I'm not trying to do that, but then you saw the wisdom in it and move forward, right? Because you were, you know, you had wrote a book, you had these speaking gigs going on, and so it seemed like you were connecting the podcast to the ability for you to continue to reach out to grow audiences that you can keep selling the books and keep getting speaking gigs. But that's kind of the thought process when you first kind of launched before.
Yeah, so the thought process was, you know, I'm gonna use the podcast just to give me some more visibility, and then with the visibility, this is allowing me to talk about like the topics that were in my book, and then also some of the topics that I knew that the millennial population was struggling with, because that was my focus, the millennials, and yeah, so that was the goal, just rolling out content in that way, just to, you know, meet that need for the millennial population.
Gotcha. Okay. And like you said that you learned the lesson that you really you were putting in the work. You did over 300 episodes, which, I mean, most people don't get nowhere close to that, right? You know what I'm saying? Maybe 10 at the most, right? You know, but most people, they're not getting that far. So, but you saw over this course in time that you had the passion for it, but your direction of how you were laying out the purpose was off. Thanks for watching the Lion and Lambo podcast. We hope this clip has been a huge blessing to you. And we want to remind you that we drop new videos, new podcast episodes every Sunday at 9 o'clock. You can find the full episode by clicking the card up at the top right of this video. If you prefer an audio-only experience, then we want to let you know that we're streaming through every major podcast streaming platform. For the full list, you can go to www.lionandthelambo.com. Until next time, go impact the world.